On just an absolutely gorgeous night. Second down and 11. They pitch it the right side. They're going to try to get the corner now. Cutting it back. That's Butt. He breaks through, makes a cut, makes another cut, and he's off to the races.
Time now for the Jerry Sinz Show. Recorded at Edgar Family Restaurant in Edgar. And sponsored by Security Health Plan. Security Health Plan. Promises kept plain and simple. Visit securityhealth.org today. Welcome to the Jerry Sinz Show, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept plain and simple here at the Edgar Family Restaurant. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, here with Edgar football head coach Jerry Sinz. Coach notched another win on the season, 28-8 over Pittsville. We talked last week about the Panthers being a defensive-minded team, and I think you found that out. The yards and touchdowns were hard to come by. We knew offensively they had some challenges, but defensively, we thought it would be a challenging game, and early on especially, their defense was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good game. They're pretty athletic, good size, probably as big as us or bigger, and we had some breaks, I thought, early. I mean, I don't know if their guy attempted this onside kick or if it just went that way, but he kicked to start the game, and it was coming right toward our sideline, in fact, right by me, and it certainly looked like it was going to go out of bounds. And so I'm yelling, get away, get away. And the ball got about a half a foot from the sideline, bounced straight up in the air, fell and laid right there in bounds. And they had a guy flying down the sideline, and he dove on it. But I noticed, of course, because it was right by me, that when he dove on it, he was out of bounds himself. And so then I told the official, sir, he was out of bounds. You recovered that ball, and he was out of bounds. And so then they got together and they looked at it, and I didn't know it was taking so much time. Well, lo and behold, the poor guy who made a great play, he got a 15-yard penalty then, too, for being the first guy to touch the ball in bounds when he came from out of bounds. And I don't think I've ever seen that rule called in 48 years of coaching in high school. I see it on TV once in a while in the pros and a punt or something.
Right.
So we not only got the ball back, but we got a 15-yard penalty on top of it, which was a huge break to start the game, because it could have been their ball on like the 30-yard line going in. Instead, it's our ball out at the 45 or 6. And then I believe there was a turnover that was involved in there too, right before half. We actually scored with 5 seconds left in the half. It was 14-0. I think we went up 21-0 then, so it was 21-0 at half. But scoring with 5 seconds left was kind of a fortunate thing too.
2 weeks ago, Tegan Strite had a pretty nice game passing, 4 for 10 this week, but yet you piled up almost 260 yards. At what point during that game did you decide, you know what, we're better off just kind of sticking on the ground and just grinding these guys, just grinding this one out?
Well, yeah, we talked about it at halftime to try to just take time off the clock if we could, and play some, ball possession stuff. And so we did that fairly well. We also wanted to get our other backs some carries because they don't have many. I think we still ended up with all 3 of our running backs all had less than 10 carries. I mean,
That's true.
A couple of them had 9, one guy had 8 or whatever. Yep. And we keep talking every week about getting them more carries, but for some reason it just never happens. I don't know. So those are things that we're working on. Once again, as you get later in the season and it gets cold and it gets wet, well, you got to carry the ball more. You got to run more, I think, because it becomes difficult to pass if it's windy and cold.
On the other side, they rushed 31 times, so they rushed almost as many. You had 35 attempts, they had 31, yet they had 201 yards less rushing than you. How was your defense able to solve their running game?
Well, we've been playing pretty good rush defense all year, and once again, because we do have some fairly experienced guys back on defense, so that's one thing. I guess other than the Colby game where we didn't necessarily play that good, but other than that, yeah, we've been playing fairly well in that, and I thought we did it again in the Pittsville game, and hopefully we can continue to improve on that. We've been shuffling guys in yet in the defensive line, trying to rest guys and so on. But overall, yeah, our 3 linebackers are all pretty experienced, so that helps too.
Let up a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Anybody have any hard feelings about that?
Oh, my wife, probably, but other than that, I don't know that, we had some backups in there at that time. It was actually it was a contested play. A sophomore defensive back of ours, Will Hackle, went up and fought with the guy for the ball, and we didn't know if it was an interception or a touchdown, but they called it dual possession, and that dual possession goes to the offense. So
Right.
that was what happened in the end.
Yeah, 32-yard touchdown reception there at the very end of the game. So 28-8 final score. We talked about this last week too. Pittsville came in probably a better team on paper than what their record shows. You saw them up close in person. They were in the Marywood a number of years ago, had left for a couple of years for the Central Wisconsin, now back. This year, in that Central Wisconsin Conference, Pittsville's probably the second best team in that conference, probably going to the playoffs, but the Marywood, as a conference top to bottom, a whole different deal than some of the other conferences in the area.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good. I really did. Like I said, they had decent size, speed, everything. We couldn't really detect any weaknesses they had anywhere. We were maybe a little faster than them, and might have helped us a few times. And I thought we punted fairly well again and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, they're a pretty solid team.
Yeah, your win was one of the largest margin of victories that they have had this year, so they played in some close games. A nice win. Their coach 28-8 over Pittsville last week. Now we move to Auburndale. These Cats got something going on down in Auburndale. Eagles, I guess I should say, right? 76-0, 62-0, 35-0, 29-8, 50-22, 49-6. Auburndale's a tough football team.
Yeah, they're very experienced. They're pretty much big everywhere. Even like their defensive backs are good sized guys, 6'2", 190-pound guys and so on. Receivers are big guys. Their quarterback, who's extremely talented, is one of their smaller players at, maybe 6 feet, 165 or whatever. But overall, yeah, they just pretty much have good guys everywhere. Offense, defense. Their punter has a great leg. He booms them high and long, and their return men are experienced. So you can't really detect any weaknesses on their team.
Yeah, quarterback Trayton Weber, 800 yards passing on the season. That's a lot, through 5-6 games. They had a forfeit win in there somewhere. Five games in conference, I should say. 8-0 overall. That's pretty good. Passing to Tim Schmidt, 235 yards receiving. Aiden Cherney's got over 200 yards receiving. Weber on the ground, 640 yards. So these guys get it done offensively. Tackling wise, I know you've maybe complained you've had some issues tackling during the season, but I think that's gotten better as the seasons went on. But your tackling will need to be really good on Friday night.
Yeah, they present probably the most varied offensive attack that we've seen thus far this year. They don't really care whether they run it or pass it. They'll just do whichever one they think is working the best, and they're very good at both of them. And of course, Weber is the guy that's leading them both. He runs the ball just as well as he throws it, and he throws it really well. So he's certainly going to be a tough guy to contend with.
As far as road games are concerned, you haven't had many this year. This is I suppose your third or your fourth? Third, yeah, only the third. And up until the playoffs, it will be just 3 on the regular season. Going to be a big crowd. You'll bring a crowd. I call them innocent bystanders in the area that maybe don't watch a football game. They're going to show up to this kind of game. And of course, you're going to have the whole town of Auburndale there. So you're going to have a lot of people watching. You and the guys ever talk about that when you're on the road, and especially now this year where there's so few road games, but this is going to be the biggest crowd you've played in front of. Do you mention that to your guys and how to stay with, let's just play the game right here in the field, not worry about what's going on in the bleachers?
No, I don't really think they notice it much, to tell you the truth. I know I certainly don't as a coach. I'll talk to fans after the game, and they'll be commenting on what was said in the crowd, or this or that, and I never heard that. I don't pay any attention to what the other student fans were yelling or any of these kinds of things. And I don't think our players play much different home or away. Last year we had 6 games on the road and only 3 at home, and I think we play about equally well either place. I think when you go on the road, you're a little more focused in because you have that bus trip where everybody's together for a half an hour. And And at home, maybe they're a little more relaxed and whatever, and then on the road, maybe a little more focused. So I think it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be a big crowd, and that'll be fun.
It will be a big crowd. I can see that coming from a mile away. The weather's going to be for the first Saturday, or is it the second Saturday or Friday in October? The weather's pretty good on Friday night. No rain in the forecast. You're going to get, like I say, those innocent bystanders out there. Those curious onlookers are going to make the drive. It is a short bus ride. You mentioned that. Just the 30 minutes on the bus. Is that a quiet bus ride there, or do you take the opportunity to talk to your guys on the way down?
No, it's pretty quiet. We talk a little. They're basically just kind of studying game information sheets and stuff like that on the way down. If we had video on the bus like you do if you take Greyhounds, so then we'd probably review a little video on the bus, but we don't. So yeah, they just do that. And on the way home, depending on win, lose, whatever, the bus might be a little louder on the way home, but it's pretty quiet on the way to games.
If you happen to win on the field afterwards with Coach Jay Anderson, you're going to have to tell him to beat Colby the next week to get yourself a share of the conference title. But all that will come after the game. And I'm sure Jay would welcome that encouragement if you happen to win the game. But this is going to be a tough one. Auburndale, a D6 team, so they're a level above you. Playoff seeding. It looks like you're pretty close to. If you were to falter on Friday night and perhaps drop that game, we might be looking at just one home playoff game and then on the road in that level too. So it's a pretty important game for a lot of reasons. Any consideration into that?
Well, we're just talking about the conference now, basically. With the players, and just as you said, if we could be fortunate enough to pull out a win on Friday, well then we certainly have to hope that Auburndale could beat Colby the following Friday, and we could beat Marathon, which would be our senior night, because all those games should be pretty tough, contested games, and of course that would give a guy a share of the title. And with an 8-1 record, if we shared the Merriwood title, I assume we'd get seated fairly high.
Well, I would assume so. Strength of schedule listings came out. WI is starting to reveal more of the seeding process, the seeding math. We think we know what it is, and we've done some tests, and it looks like we're pretty close on it, if not exact. They've got you as the strength of schedule 82nd toughest schedule in the state. So pretty tough schedule. This will add to that, and that strength of schedule is a big lump of that pie, big section of the pie for seeding process. So we look forward to the game. Tom King pregame show at 6:50. Again, you're going to be at the game anyway. But if you're not able to get there, Tom King, 6:50 pregame. Kickoff is at 7 at Auburndale. So get down there, probably standing room only. If you don't get there, I would think by 6:45 you're gonna wear out your shoes walking and standing over in the corner somewhere. But it'd be a nice night to get out. So get down there and watch these guys play. Lastly, Coach, Packers are in England on Sunday. 8:30 a.m. for us kickoff. What are some strategies to waking up that early in the morning to watch a football game?
Yeah, we had to play at State a couple times when we dropped to Division 7 at 10 a.m. and I didn't really like it. It was a lot more fun playing at 1. Yeah. It's hard to get high school kids fired up at 10 a.m. Even if it's for a state championship game. Yeah. And so I don't know what the Packers plan necessarily is. We actually have confirmation in town this weekend for some of our kids, and that's at 11 o'clock. So I'll get to watch half the Packer game before church this week, so it'll work out okay.
Some of the kids might be, or the grown-ups too, might be a little bleary-eyed, especially if they were at a wedding or something the night before, and get up and Packers kick off at 8:30. So interesting. They said it's the first time in this London series that two teams playing both have winning records. Both the Giants and Packers are 3-1. They say that's never happened before. Of course, they've sent some of the bottom of the NFL over there to play, but two teams with winning records. So look forward to that as well.
Yeah, it should be good. Should be a good game.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Good luck on Friday at Auburndale.
Thank you very much, Jason.
That'll do it for this edition of the Jerry Sinz Show, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. We'll see you again next week.